What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, and we are going to be diving into the performance from Zay Flowers, the NFL's leading receiver. I know it's a disappointing day, but let's try and look at some of the bright sides of this offense, and that was definitely the explosive game breaker. That was Zay Flowers making plays at all four levels of this game, look dialed with Lamar Jackson. I think that's super positive, where we obviously heard a lot about Rashad Bateman this offseason. I think people almost forgot because of the playoff game being missed due to injury that Zay Flowers is still a very, very good wide receiver. So I'm excited to dive into it. As always, brought to you by Profit X here on Road Graders. And as always, you can go over to Profit X. You can use America's #1 sports prediction market, play against peers, not the house, and make yourselves more money. Using this as an example on the screen, if you use DraftKings, a bet on the Baltimore Ravens money line last night would have got you $80 payout. Over at ProfitX, it's going to get you $89.29. They simply just give you better odds. It's really that easy, and you can use promo code ROADGraders over at ProfitX, and you can get up to $200 cash back over your first 30 days. Every play you make, ProfitX gives you money back for playing on their platform. Easy money, more money in your pockets, bigger bets, bigger winnings. So as I said, Zay Flowers has become the NFL's leading receiver. He passed Puka Nacua last night. This is just great to see. Obviously, it's exciting. Doesn't mean much without a W. I understand that sentiment. I know there's going to be comments down below. I hear you guys. I absolutely sympathize. But I do want to take a look at what Zay did so well, because I think this is going to become insanely important this year. And it was really his ability to run away from coverage. Like, his route running and his speed in the deep field has just become next level. And I think Todd Monken did a great job of scheming him. So you're going to see him here. He's at the bottom of your screen, and they're just going to run a crossing route. And this is something that worked really well against the Bills, because the Bills like to run a lot of this man blitz. So what's going to happen is they're going to stack the box. They're going to stack the line of scrimmage. Their play here is obviously to take away Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has absolutely killed this Buffalo Bills team on the ground, and so they want to man up behind that, and they're going to play just a single high cover one. He's going to be one-on-one with, I believe that's Christian Benford, and this is just a simple crossing route, but you're going to see Zay's slipperiness right there, the way he can throttle up and down. We talked about this so much. So he's going to get Benford into trail just from his release, and then as he gets up to this point, you're going to see him plant that outside foot and then break off the crosser right like that. And his ability to accelerate as he breaks off a route at its stem, that's what separates him from other receivers, and that's what makes him so high level, because he doesn't get into awkward false steps when he makes those route running moves. He's able to just kind of smoothly run, plant his foot, and then still have explosiveness. And it also shows something. I'll just kind of play it through while I'm talking. It shows his ability to throttle his speed, but he's also not at full speed when he's running here. So he's beating Benford with his speed, but he has an extra gear that he's able to click his foot into, and then you see him almost get the yak there. So just those little things, those little traits, that's all the things we saw at Boston College. We're starting to see him just implement that so consistently. The big thing is just keeping Zay Flowers healthy. I love how they used him in this game. You're going to see it again here. He's going to get the running start, the little Tyreek Hill running start, and they're going to run it over the middle with him. So it was on 3rd and 12. They ran that motion in the backfield, and he kind of turned upfield a little too early, and they called him for illegal motion. But I love how they're getting him moving, because you get him moving before, again, with that ability to throttle. And again, this is what they do with Tyreek Hill, and it's what helps him so much get that advantage. And so you're going to see here, he's going to break it upfield and then just bend it inwards. And this looks like it's against cover 3, so he's just running into that soft spot of the zone. Big thing here is you see the safety just drop down. So I'm going to go back. They're going to start with 2 high. He's going to rotate down. That's what makes me think cover 3. There's your 3 high defenders in their 1/3. And the funny thing is Mark Andrews is super close on this one. So Mark Andrews is going to run up and run a curl as that safety comes down. Mark ends up running a curl and then going. And we've heard a lot about how Mark Andrews has a lot of freedom to go into improvised routes, and that's exactly what this looks like. As he goes up to run his curl, he sees that safety drop down, showing cover 3. He knows he's got Zay over here, so run that seam and really put that safety in conflict. Obviously, this almost ends up with Zay and Mark almost competing for the same ball, so it could have ended disastrously, but that's what happened here. So you're going to see it in Mark. He's going to curve and then keep going. I don't think that was a designed, kind of stop and go, because Zay Flowers' route would be going right into it. We haven't really seen these spacing issues from Todd Monken's offense like we did with Greg Roman, so I don't think this was designed. I think that's the Mark Andrews freedom that exists. But for Zay's route running here, again, just that little head start, he gets going, and then he just bends it right into the soft spot. Such a good play here by Lamar Jackson to see that into cover 3, throws it right over the heads of the linebackers here into that little soft spot. That's exactly where you're vulnerable in cover 3. If you can get it over the heads of those linebackers, Zay just bends it under the cover 3 high thirds perfectly. Zay here, he's going to actually be laid off the line of scrimmage, but again, just a guy that can run away from coverage. This looks like a broken coverage from the Bills. You're going to see 24, I believe that's Taylor Rapp. He's going to drop down. Looks like they're just in cover 1 man, and so they're going to blitz here with the guy opposite. I believe that's Taron Johnson. So Taron Johnson's going to blitz off from the slot here, which Lamar sees because he's got to pick up that blitzer, and then you're going to get the dropout here from the player that was mugging the A gap, and this is just an easy play. So a little bit of a blown coverage in cover 1 there. I'm not going to be too often asking guys to switch on Zay Flowers like that, but look at him take advantage. Does it so consistently. Ravens going to come out here in a little pony setup with 2 running backs. So you got Derrick Henry here, and they start out with Justice Hill, and this really looks like I love how Todd Monken put this together. So the Ravens will do this where they'll bring Justice Hill in on that motion, and they'll run like a power read with Derrick Henry as a lead blocker, and they just kind of go back to the other side. So they try and get the defense thinking that way, and you can see it right here, right? You see those linebackers flow. They're ready for this. They're ready for whether it's a handoff to Justice Hill or it's going to be a power, veer type play up the middle, whether it's power read or veer. But what they do is they actually leak out Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum on a screen to the backside to Zay Flowers. And because they flowed these linebackers all the way over here, it creates all that space. And then Zay Flowers is just going to use his speed and his running ability after the catch. But just really well played, or really well schemed play here by Todd Monken. Zay Flowers does his job, and then Ronnie and Tyler getting out there. You see Ronnie on the lead block, Tyler getting out there to get it done, and then Zay having the speed that he does to get in, gives a little wave to the fans. Just again, the big thing here and the reason that I think this is so important is because we've seen Zay absolutely cooking in that intermediate to deep range, and yet he's still able to make plays behind the line of scrimmage. And this has always been my argument for why I'm so high on Zay Flowers. It's because he's a 4-level receiver. He can make plays behind the line of scrimmage, short, intermediate, and deep, all 4 levels. That's what makes him special. That's what makes me less concerned about some of the size deficiency that he has. The fact that he isn't going to, be a contested catch guy like DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown. That's not really his game. His game is to be this finesse receiver that gets separation and gets separation in all 4 levels and is able to get yak. And that's exactly what the Ravens need from him. So just seeing him come out and execute. Here they're going to motion him to the other side of the field. He's got Dorian Strong on him, the rookie out of Virginia Tech. Little play action, and then they just leak Zay across the field, and this is that yak I'm talking about. So again, he's making a play, in the short. We haven't seen him really do it. We saw him take one from behind the line of scrimmage into the end zone, and just really smart play here. So they're going to, get, again, the play action play goes over here. They get those linebackers flowing, and they bring Zay to the backside away from those linebackers, and that's exactly what you want to do. Get Zay Flowers out in space. That's what Todd Monken has done so well in his career as an offensive coordinator, and now we're seeing him be able to utilize Zay Flowers in that way. So I'm very excited what I saw from him. I think that this was a sign of things to come. If If you'd told me that Zay Flowers have 140 receiving yards and Derrick Henry had, what would he finish with, 190 rushing yards, I'd tell you there's no way we're losing that football game. Very disappointing end, but let's take a little bit of the positive away, and that was definitely their performance from Zay Flowers. So if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, and as always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.